Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. First, I would like to say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever to you, yours, your family, etc. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We're going to do a Christmas build. This is the first annual Diecast Graveyard Christmas Build Invitational. Today we're going to take a 1962 GMC panel van and we're going to have some fun with this car. It's got a metal base to it. It's got real rider tires. This is just one beautiful machine. It does have some scratches and stuff on it on the underside, but we're going to have some fun with it and we're going to turn it into a Christmas vehicle. So let's get started. I've gone ahead and drilled the car apart, so let's take it apart and see what we're working with here. This is a brand new car, so we're not going to have to worry about evaluating the parts, but here's the body. It's got some really nice thick paint on it, so it may take a little bit of extra time in the paint stripper. I went ahead and drilled out the post and tapped the screw. There's the scratches I was talking about. The base is fantastic. Got those beautiful real rider tires on there. It sits really, really nice. I love working with metal bases because you don't have too much playing you have to do with it. Nice clear windshield. The inside's kind of like a pearl white. I think that's kind of neat too. You could paint it up if you wanted to, but this thing looks pretty awesome, so we're just going to leave it the way it is. One of the first things we need to do is to get this car in the paint stripper. Make sure you coat the inside and the outside because we're going to do a color change here, so we don't want that inside overspray to show. If you've got a red car and you got a white interior, not so bad, but if you got a red car and a green interior or it just doesn't look right, you need to make sure you get the inside of the car well too. Coat everything well. Here I'm using citrus strip that I picked up at Walmart. Coat everything really good and let it sit for a while. I mean, unless you're in a really big hurry, you do have some paint strippers that'll work really, really quick. This does work kind of quick, but I like to let it sit anyways.
Several minutes later.
Look how that paint bubbled up. Here's where you're going to take a good stiff brush and remove as much paint as possible. That citrus stripper works really good. It doesn't work fast, but it works good. Now you could use something that's a little faster like the aircraft paint stripper, and I do have some. But it's so hard to get, and it is expensive, so I'm kind of saving it for a rainy day. But clean it off really well and clean it up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be advised of any future videos that come out. And don't forget to set that up on your phone either. I think that's cleaned up enough. We'll get it to the sink and get it scrubbed down with soap and water, and then we'll hit it with the degreaser. Now the paint we're going to be using here, we've polished up the car, so we're going to use the Spectre Flame Red. So we're not going to polish it up to a mirror shine because we're going to put some Hot Rod Sparkle on it a little bit later on. So we're just going to clean it up and polish it up lightly, and then we're going to hit it with the Hot Rod Sparkle and then put our decals on, which I made the decals myself, so that'll work out pretty good. Except for the wreath decal, which you'll see here in just a little bit. Let's move on. Here we're putting the initial coats of the Spectre Flame Red. Here you want to put on a light mist coat. Let that tack up after you've sprayed it on, and it'll give the rest of the paint that you're going to put on a nice tooth or just a nice area to grab to bite on so it doesn't run. And here it's important to make sure that you put just a few light mist coats on here just to start with, and then let it dry and tack up. Maybe not dry fully, but let it tack up for sure. So don't go too heavy on the paint here. Add, I don't know, about 3 or 4 coats, light coats of this paint and put it on, and then let it set up. And then you can move back in and get it a little bit more saturated to get that nice high gloss shine that you're looking for. This has tacked up a bit. So we're going to put a little bit more heavier coats on. Make sure you get the inside too, because if you look close enough, you'll be able to see inside the car, and you don't want to have bare walls on the inside of your car. Just continually move. Don't let your car sit so it builds up paint. Just keep rotating it and keep spraying. When you're mixing up this paint, make sure that you follow the manufacturer's specifications. It's very important to get the finish that you want. And if you follow these directions, you will get a fantastic finish, I promise. Now, believe it or not, I live here in Florida, and it has been cold lately. So that's something to consider when you're spraying. Either make sure you're in a fairly warm place when you're spraying, or you've got access to make sure that this paint sets for a while before you continue on with anything, because it needs to harden up.
Waiting for the paint to dry.
We've let the paint sit overnight, so now we're going to put on the Crhistmas Hot Rod Sparkle. We're also going to use the high performance reducer to thin it down. This is a 10-to-1 ratio. 10 parts paint, 1 part of the reducer. And it's very important that you get those measurements correct. Now when you're spraying this, now here I'm just using some air to blow off any dust that might be on there. When you're spraying on this Hot Rod Sparkle, you don't want to get close to your car that you're painting. You want to mist it on, but you want to do it from a little bit of a distance. If you get too close, the binder that holds all that sparkle together will build up on your car very, very quickly, and it'll run. Trust me on this, okay? Now, as you can see the sparkles in the air. Get yourself a little bit of distance when you're spraying this on, and you're just putting enough binder on the car to make sure that the sparkle is going to stick. This you don't want to put on heavy. You want to do mist coats of this. Now, of course, the more mist coats you put on of this Hot Rod Sparkle, the more sparkle you're going to have, obviously. But again, make sure you do it from a distance. We've let that set up for a bit, so let's go ahead and put on some more sparkle. Again, do it from a distance. And keep rotating the car. You definitely don't want that base of that binder to build up on the car, because it gets really nasty and it makes runs, and it'll make your paint job really rough. This is a Christmassy kind of vehicle, so a little bit of extra sparkle here is, I think, just what the doctor ordered. You can see it in the light, you can see how much it reflects, but man, I'll tell you, when you see this sparkle in the sun or in the really bright light, man, does it pop. I'm really, really happy with the way that looks. That's really cool. Let's go on to the next step. We've let the sparkle set up on the car overnight, and now we're going to put the decals on. Except for the wreath on top of the car, I made these decals myself using the Tester's white-backed decal paper. If you were to use the clear-backed decal paper on this, if you don't have a white background, the color and the back is going to show through. Now, if you got a white car, that's perfect, that's fine, possibly even silver. But if you go with the darker colors like the reds, the blues, the greens, it's going to look really, really muddy. So you want to make sure that you use the white-backed decal paper if you're making your own decals. And we will have a video here in the future about how to make your own decals. One of the important things about these decals is you need to measure out exactly where this item is going to go, because you can definitely make these things too big. Now, how I combat that is when I'm making these decals, the first thing I do when I get them to the size I believe I need is I'll print it out on regular paper first. Cut it out and then put it up against the vehicle to make sure that it's going to fill the area the way you want to. When it's all set and done and you think you got it, then print your decal paper. You got to be careful with this stuff because it's not fun to work with. It's a little bit of an effort to make decals. And like I said, when I make the video on how to make your own decals, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to put a couple of those little Santa Clauses on the doors also. Here's what we started with. This beautiful base car, this Hot Wheels GMC 1962 panel van with the Quaker State logos. You can see the mess on the side there as it rotates by. But this is a beautiful car with the metal base and the real riders and everything. This is definitely good quality stuff. I kind of hated to strip it down, but once I saw those little boogers on the side of the car, I knew that this was going to be perfect for what I needed. So have some fun with what you do and what you build. And guys, everything we do in these videos, you can do also. I'll leave a link to some of the tools and things that we have and that I've used in these videos and like that. And a lot of them have the links. You may have to copy and paste the link, but the links will be there. But God, making these cars is fun. You need to try this yourself. And this is what we got to. I've got my Christmas vehicle here. I've got Santa Claus and Merry Christmas and the Christmas wreath on it. And hey, it's Christmas time, so we got a snowplow in the front to make sure that Santa gets to deliver the toys where he needs to. This was a lot of fun. And like I said, I can't emphasize enough to you, try this yourself. Here in the very near future, I'm going to have a subscriber build off, and we're going to give away some cool prizes here. It's going to involve muscle cars. Now, guys, a Datsun is not a muscle car, okay? We're talking Fords, Chevys, Dodges, real good heavy metal when it comes to making these cars. But again, more information is going to follow on that. Wow, I can't believe this year's gone by so fast, 2019. And it's Christmas time already. This is my favorite time of the year because I get to see my family and my friends, and you get to give things and you see the reaction on their face when you give them something really cool. I love to give. Thank you for joining me here today. Here we got a list of the participating builders. Outlaw Speed Shop, Fat Guy Productions, Paulie over there in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, Jamie at Devil's Details Diecast, Brian at Diecast Outcast, Lee, Time Rider Wee Little Cars, Funky over at Scale Street Garage, Opa, visit Scott there, Nick's Toy Garage, and Edward Marino. Please check out the links. I'll have these in the comment section. Please check out their builds. Guys, this year's gone by so fast. It's been an absolute honor to make these videos for you. And I've got so many more videos coming up here that I've got scheduled to be released. Check out the 3 Blind Mice build. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And thank you again.